break up your back, girl. Girl, release your mind. Baby, just whine it slow. Whine it on me, girl. Baby, do your thing, girl. Mira, mami, baila como loca. Mueve la botella que parece Coca-Cola. Suéltate, mami, a mí me gusta todo eso. Mi love it, Unadi. María, qué buena baila usted. Levanta la mano, bend over, one drop it. Que vine a enriquearte. Después de esa noche vas a ser mi wife. Tonight, 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 you know me mine. Tonight, 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 you're Sister Maria. Tonight, 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 shake your bum bum. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Sexy María, mira cómo bailas. Tienes un cuerpecito, luces bien y no fallas. Te mueves bien sexy, so baby, won't you sex me? Se te nota lo bellaca, so baby, won't you test me? Tienes tantas curvas, me enloquece tu belleza. Eres fresca, perfecta, como una muñeca. Sé que te gusto, bailando yo te seduzco. Cuando se acabe la noche, complácete a mi gusto. Sótame tu cuerpo, entrégate completo. Esta noche disfrutemos para llevarte al cielo, más. Como no mueves, solo tú lo vas a hacer. Mueve tu cadera que tú me vas a aprender. Me ríes tu cuerpo, pegadito a mí. Te juro que no te arrepentirás esa noche, bebé. Girl, we love it, Unadi. 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 Yeah, listen, Romani, the evolution, and Jamexican combination. Boom. Tonight, 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 you know me mine. Tonight, 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 you're Sister Maria. Tonight, 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 shake your bum bum. Tonight, tonight, tonight.
Yes.
Hey.
Queenz of Queenz Radio. We're here every Friday from 7 to 9. Queen Myesha and my lovely host.
Queen Shavaka.
Yes. And Memo helping us out over there.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Off camera. And we have L Jamexican.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey. So, what's the name of that song?
So this song's titled Tonight.
Cool. And who was featured on that?
The feature was Romani the Evolution. Romani with a lowercase I. So everything capital. You can look them up on YouTube, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, everywhere. Apple Music.
Okay.
As well as for me, too.
All right.
So I'm
So-
on the platform.
Does that song have a video?
Yes, it does. Matter of fact, the video is also featuring
Me?
Queen Myesha.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Wow! Are we full of surprises?
Yes.
It was fun. It was fun doing the video, and it came out really well.
It was.
I was like, when I watched it, I was like, what? This is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. It was dope.
Yes. Did you watch it, Queen Shavaka?
I did.
And what
That's
you
why I
think?
said, wow, aren't we full of surprises? It was
Yes.
Woo. It was actually a fun video. It was a fun video to watch. I actually watched it all the way through, past the 2 seconds. It was really good. It was like, it looked like a lot of fun. It just looks like a dance party.
It was a party. It was a party.
I think I smiled, like when I'm doing that photo shoot, I was smiling the whole entire time. I think like the person doing the recording, he was like, can you just be sexy and not smile? I'm like, but it's a fun song. My
Yeah, it was really fun.
Smile.
Yeah.
I would not smile.
Like, I was dancing in my living room just listening to it. So it's a really,
Yes.
really fun song.
So, El Jamexican, where can people find you if they want to follow you?
They could follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I mean, all the social media platforms.
And now, just in case people don't know how to spell El Jamexican, can you spell it?
So it's ELJA Mexican.
If you don't know how to spell Mexican,
if you don't know how to
Google,
spell, yeah.
how do you spell
Mexican.
and there you go.
So it's JA and then
Mexican.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Easy, easy.
But EL space.
Yeah, space.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because somebody might try to put it all
Thank you,
together
thank
like
you,
one
yeah.
word.
Well, you can, because on Google, I've actually tried myself. Like, man, I'm not popping up on Google. So I tried putting them all together, and it was like first page, second page, third page. But that's because of the Instagram. The Instagram, that's where I do all my promotions mostly. So I'm more active on Instagram than on Facebook. So then I started realizing, oh, hold on. Now I gotta like do it like that. But slowly but surely, I started seeing other pages. Okay, now it has a space.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Now, do you have anything coming up? Any projects, any concerts or anything?
I do have more projects coming out. But as for now, really no shows. I just have one next month with Memo. DJ Memo's throwing that. That's on the 6th, right? 5th. Sorry about that.
Okay. And that's out here in Sacramento?
Yes.
Where?
Blue Lamp.
Oh, the Blue Lamp on Alhambra downtown.
Okay, the Blue Lamp. That's nice. Really nice.
And you're hosting.
And I'm hosting.
You're hosting.
So, I've never heard your story, El Jamexican, on how you became this wonderful artist that you are.
Oh,
Please
man.
share with us. Like, where were
well,
you born and raised?
I was born in Mexicali, Baja California, which is the border. Calexico, California, and then you have Mexicali, which is Mexico now. So that's the borderline. I was born there. I was brought here at 3 years old. I didn't know anything. I was a baby. I was raised here all my life in Sacramento. So, just seeing my dad and his side of the family, they're all musicians. I think I got that talent, or we should say gift. Yes. I got that gift through my grandfather, which I think some of his family also did music, but not on the level he was taking it. And then it just started escalating. Like, more cousins started singing, and then eventually at 5 years old, I started playing the keyboard, which was the first instrument I started like touching and playing with. And it was a Casio toy thing that my dad bought from like the Goodwill. He's like, he wanted to see if I was interested in that, or if I was interested in playing sports, things like that. So he got me that thing, and I was just playing the thing. 5 years old, I started playing notes. I don't know, that's what they told me. I can't remember way back, but they're like, yeah, you were playing notes. So
That you made up on your own? Or
no, just notes like chords.
Chords? Oh, cool.
Like A, B, and
Ah.
basic.
Yeah.
Two fingering it. So he was like, oh, like he got it. Like he got like a part of us from the family. So he started showing me things here and there. He also was an artist. So he would travel all like through Mexico. He used to back up, like, I'm talking about famous, like already established artists. And then he kind of fell back. He's like, I'm not, I don't want my family to be out. I got kids. So he kind of fell back. But he was close to getting signed as well.
Oh.
As his own image, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
That's what's up.
He ended up coming back because it didn't work out. Came back, and then he came here. That's when I got brought here.
So how did you, is there anybody else in your family, would you consider your music reggaeton? What genre would you put it in?
Well, when I first started, I was doing hip-hop.
Okay.
I started off hip-hop. I used to DJ, actually. I was a DJ before I started doing that.
Ah.
So all the influences that I heard, because I hear everything. I hear from jazz, blues, rock, reggae, dancehall, soca, Afro beats. And this is before the S was on beats. So it's like back in the 70s Afro beat.
Okay.
So, I listened to a whole bunch of things in my teens when I started DJing. I liked a lot of different cultures, nationalities. I mean, that's really what inspired me. I wanted to take it to another level, and then I said, okay, it's time for me to expand and actually do what I did before I started DJing, which was playing music. So I grabbed the guitar, boom, boom, lacing things down on a 8-track, something like this, record with a record button, and I would record one track, and then let me see what I could do, just playing around. Didn't take it serious. Started noticing and getting introduced through other friends. Oh man, you should check this out. This might help you out better. And then I left it alone and just continued DJing. Finally, at age, I must have been I started late writing music. I think I was like 26, 27. I started writing music. But I was just writing. Nothing to like beats or music. I was just writing, and then I'm like,
poetry.
okay, yeah, like poetry. And then I said, okay, man, let me try to go ahead and put it on a beat. So I started making these beats, which were rap, hip hop, R&B type beats, and I seen okay, let me try it, see how people react to it or whatever. Garbage.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, people
Nah,
loved it."
nah. It just didn't.
They're flocking.
How did you know that people thought it was garbage? They actually tell you?
Well, yeah. Straight up, hey, I don't think this is for you. Which is cool though, because I took it and took it and did it my own way, and I kind of discovered myself. And that's what you got to do when you're an artist. You're gonna discover yourself, and you're gonna have a lot of people tell you, "Oh, you should try this. You should do that." And then just to take all that in, you're just one soul. To take all that in, it's all right, man, whatever. So I gave up that. I was like, I'm gonna just continue DJing and whatever. Finally, reggaeton was one of the things that I was more interested in. I'm like, man, it's my language. I speak Spanish. Why not? Let's try it out. Boom. Started making the beats. Super easy for me. I was like, okay, because I already learned how to play, which is Hispanic music. Which, the first things I started learning was cumbias. How to play the cumbias. And that's kind of tropical. That's the tropical side of Mexican music. So it has a Caribbean type feel too, which is called sonidera, and a lot of Cubans also use that, but they do it their way. So I started experimenting. All right, let me drop the reggaeton with that, and it started working. And then I said, okay, I've always been a lover of reggae music. I was okay, let me combine that with that and see how that goes. So it's just an experiment. And then finally I started doing it, and there you go. First song was Hey Girl. That's what it was called. My very first single. My very first single is called Hey Girl.
Hey Girl.
Is that on YouTube?
That's on YouTube.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. So
Hey
you guys
Girl.
can check that out. That was my very first song, very first visual. But yeah.
Okay.
And people started kind of digging that sound. That they're like, dude, what is that? It's not reggaeton, but it's reggaeton, but it's not reggaeton. What is that? I started getting that everywhere I went. I'm like, okay, so now I'm kind of discovering my own sound.
Yeah. That's basically exactly, yeah. You have your own unique sound of how you do things. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, I love asking this question. So, when was your first performance, and how did it go?
Okay, my first performance I did, it was an open mic. It was at Soul Collective. Shout out to Soul Collective.
Shout out.
Yeah, so they used to do I think they still do the open mics, but they do it on another day. So anyways, long story short, I walked in there. You would sign up, wait in line, and they'll call you up. So here I go, walking up the little steps to the stage, and I'm already nervous. I'm like, damn, and it's only like 4 people watching you, so it's like super more nervous for me. Like I'm like, man, I wish I had a bigger audience. So I'm doing my thing, and then I forget my lyrics, and I'm like, and then I threw out the F-bomb, like, but you live and you learn, and everybody has to start somewhere. You know what I mean? But I now that I look back, it's like, man, like I embrace it, because I'm like, dude, all this like sacrifices that I've been putting in, all that work, and finally, I'm sounding better on stage. I'm like, when I present myself, everything is on point. So it takes a lot of practice, but yeah. But it was bad. It was bad. It was pretty bad.
Oh my gosh. Do you listen to Queen Shavaka? Do you listen to like reggaeton and like?
No, and it's funny because the first one I listened to was, I don't know if the one that you sent me was it reggaeton? The Tonight? No, you.
Yeah,
Tonight.
It was El Jamexican.
Yeah, the Tonight. Is that reggaeton?
It's a fusion. It's a
Okay.
fusion.
It's his own
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah.
It's El Jamexican genre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's the closest I've.
Okay, cool. But
Yeah.
her first taste of your
Yeah.
music, and she loved it. So
And I loved it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So a question that I've been asking all the artists that we've been interviewing tonight is, what's more important to you, fame or money?
I would have to say money.
Okay.
Money. Fame comes and goes. There's like, if you really think about it, like I could example like Kanye West. He came and went and came back.
Yeah.
He came and went and
boomerang.
came back. Yeah, it's like that really isn't. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like, oh man, it's all eyes on you. Yeah, But I really don't. I'm not really that type of. You could say like, I don't really want to be famous. I'd rather, like, I don't want people walking up to me and my family when I'm eating and taking pictures of me and stuff like that. Like, that's not, I'd rather be on a level to where, I could walk around my whole city without people harassing me and, can I take a picture,
Okay.
But money for sure, because I want to, I need it. I got kids. I got to provide for them.
Yeah.
I got a family, a wife,
Yeah.
So.
You get a salute.
Oh, Jose Bonilla, saludos, bro.
Okay, so what other talents do you have?
Other talents. I draw. I'm an artist. That was actually one of my first things. It was music and drawing. That was like my two, like after I did my homework, that's what I used to do. Draw, sit in their room, sometimes go out and play with my friends or whatever. But it was always drawing. Oh man. And then I would get inspired because my neighbor upstairs, Puerto Rican, we lived in apartments then. Man, I could remember like yesterday. He would paint these like superheroes on his car with an airbrush. And all the kids in the neighborhood would be like watching him like
a car, like a big
like
car,
a drive, like his own car.
Uh-huh.
He would draw these superheroes, like, and they were all female superheroes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, dude, like, what is that? That kind of interests me as a kid. And then he drew, like, the second thing he drew was the male figure superheroes next to him. Like king, queen type, and I'm like, yo, like that interested me. And I was like, one day I went and talked to him, like, Richard, hey, shout out to Richard. So I'm like, Richard, can you draw me a Spider-Man or like a Batman or, stuff like that? And then he's like, yeah, I'll do it when I get my, my free time. So, didn't happen. Didn't happen because he was busy. He would do a lot of like lowrider magazines, like the art.
Oh,
He would be at events. Yeah, he's a professional level. Basically, one day they had a community center there at the apartments, and they threw this event. So Richard was there. He was drawing all these superheroes or whatever, princesses for the little girls, and he's like, "What would you like?" type thing, and it was a Christmas event. I believe it was. I think it was a Christmas event. So I finally went up and he gave me my Superman and my Batman and the other guy all in one page. So I'm like, yo. Then I started kind of tracing that on the paper, like, whoa. Now I'm getting better. So now I started like getting on the level to where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna copy that same exact word
without tracing.
Yeah, without tracing. And then I would see the trains go by, graffiti art. All these like murals on the train. That really interested me more, the graffiti, and that got me in trouble as well.
You used to be a tagger.
So I used to graph, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That sounds better than tagger.
Yes. Is your stuff still out there, like in Sacramento, or is it all painted over?
No, it's probably all painted over.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Queen Shavaka, you've seen the pictures that I put on the flyer of myself, right? And like other pictures that I post. That's another talent you have.
Oh, you're a photographer.
He's my photographer.
oh yes. That's a hobby. That's a little.
I remember
hobby,
seeing it, and I was like, I need professional pictures of me done.
Yeah, that's something. That's something
Selfies
new.
are just not enough.
That's something new
Yeah.
for me. Like I just started doing that. Last year. Last year I bought me a camera. I was like, man, it's probably the same thing as drawing. You gotta look at the angles, like if it was a picture that you're drawing or whatever. So I'm like looking and I'm like, man, this is the angle, like I have the eye for it because I was an artist.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like those,
They're really good photos.
the photos when I'm in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
That was kind
That
of
one,
risky.
yeah. That one was
I run out
risky.
there with my heels on. I'm like, okay, hurry up.
Almost getting hit by cars.
But they came out beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
they
thank
came
you.
out really nice.
Thank
For this
you.
camera, yes. So
Really nice pictures.
you have a very unique look. So out here in Sacramento, how do people react to your look? Because you have long dreadlocks, and you go to a lot of reggae spots. How do they respond to you?
Honestly, I haven't had anybody really like talk to me about it. You're the first person now to bring it up. But I don't know. It's like if I go to a different environment, like a whole different spot. Like if
you go to a majority like Hispanic spot.
like okay, so if I go to a Hispanic spot, they think I'm mixed. But that's when I have my dreads down or whatever. They think that I'm mixed. They're like, "Oh, are you mixed?" No, I'm not Mexican. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were Cuban, Puerto Rican. That's the first things I get. Yeah, because of my hair, they're like, "Oh, it's curly. Like, how do you do your hair?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just twist it. I just twist it." But yeah, they kind of bug out sometimes, the Latin community.
Yeah.
But Sacramento is a really diverse city, so it's normal. You'll see another guy like me downtown,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, what's up, brother? Hey, what's up, brother? Straight up. And it's like that with people of color. I'm a man of color. I don't ever get like because it like I said, it's a diverse city. It's like Oakland kind of, like the town's the same.
Yeah.
But like down in LA though, I had a whole different experience.
What happened in LA?
So I went to LA and they're like, "Oh, you got the N word here, like, oh, you're N whoop de whoop, you're not Mexican." And I'm like, dude,
What?
it's because they're so mentally brainwashed through prison because of the gangs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're so like segregated. But they knew right away where we from. Like the way we talk, we say hella. Hella is like a word we use here in Northern California, especially Sacramento. So they knew, like they knew. But it was that was the first experience that I've had that was like, whoa, like, yo, you ain't even accept it. We're like, bro, we're brothers. Like, you Mexican, I'm Mexican. Oh, nah, you not Mexican.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hold on, I'm not Mexican, but you don't speak fluent Spanish.
Right.
So like now I'm kind of telling
Yeah.
them like in a good way, not in a bad way, to where
Yeah.
we're gonna fight type thing. But I mean, it's real, man. It's real. But Sacramento, Northern California, I've never had a problem where somebody tells me, "Oh yeah, you do. Why you have dreads, or are you trying to do this and that?" I'm like, man, only if you knew my grandma was black. She's. I mean, she is, but she's not. She's not American. She's Mexican.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
darker skinned people
There is.
and
Yeah.
black people in Mexico. I mean, that's where they dropped off a lot of slaves.
Mhm.
Right.
You don't know that.
I
Yes.
didn't know.
Like my dad, he's darker skinned. He's probably a little darker. He's about your complexion, maybe a little darker.
Yeah.
And my mom, she's super light. She's super light. She looks Spanish, like European, green eyes.
Yeah.
So that's why I look light.
That's where you get your soul from.
Mm-hmm.
The mixture.
Yeah, the mixture. Yeah, yeah.
So, do you have any questions for El Jamexican, my beautiful host, Queen Shavaka?
Thank you. So perform in other countries like Jamaica, Puerto Rico, is that your goal for the future?
Oh man, yeah, that's one of my goals. I think my sound, like I've worked so hard in creating a sound, and it sounds like both. It sounds like on the Latin side, and it sounds also on the Caribbean side. So you know, it's funny because now that you brought that up, I got a guy out in Dominican Republic that just actually texted me about a week ago, and he's like, "Yo, are you Dominican?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm Mexican." They're like, "What?" Because you know the music, but the music that's in Mexico that's really more popular is like sounds more like a country type, you know, Western type feel to it.
Yeah.
So that's what's basically more popular in Mexico. So they hear it and see it on TV, but they don't see the other side of the music we listen to. You know what I mean? Because there's like cumbias, and then you have like what is it, sonidera, which is more like a tropical Caribbean almost sound. So I have to explain to him like, yo, man, this is the sound that I like listening to when I listen to it. And I listen to a lot of salsa too, like salsa, merengue, stuff like that. So, you know, I have to break it
Really
down.
good music.
But
Educate people.
but yeah, I would really love to go to Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Mexico for sure. Like
Yeah.
I can see you on stage.
like that's my
Jamaica.
homeland.
I can see 'em
That's my
too.
homeland.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to because I do reggae music, and I would love to learn I want to learn how to create which is the real reggae music, because my music has influences of reggae. So if I say, oh yeah, I do reggae music, people look like a Jamaican would say, hell no, that's not reggae. And I've seen a couple Jamaicans tell me like, yo man, your sound sounds like it sounds good, but it's not reggae.
Yeah, it's something different.
Yeah, it's something different, but it sounds good.
Yeah. Now you're saying what you want to learn how to create reggae. Are you talking about like roots reggae or more dancehall?
I want to get into both actually. I already have the fundamental, like the foundations down, but to actually get that sound that's out now of like today, like I hear the Bob Marleys, and that's old.
Yeah.
I'm talking
I love
about
my Bob Marley.
nowadays, like what's popping in Jamaica now. Like I
the
want to hear the
Cartels,
yes,
the,
the sounds they're
yes.
using, the way they put it together is different, and it sounds like, you know, it sounds dope.
Yeah.
And that's a really like big inspiration to my music.
Maybe you could
And
do
that's the only reggae I knew is Bob Marley. I used to have a
that's what most
collection
people-
growing
that's
up.
what most people know about reggae, but there's different genres,
There's a
different
whole bunch of-
spin-offs,
yeah.
and a whole bunch of different stuff. So maybe some collaborations with some people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
awesome.
Wait, Shanka Nation? Or
Yeah.
National, excuse me.
Shank National.
Yes, national.
Yeah.
Some collaborations. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you
El
so
Jamexican.
much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you,
And
thank you.
I am waiting for the next video.
Me
and
too.
hopefully I could be
Oh yeah.
Yes. So, Memo.
Ask him about the name.
I knew you were gonna say
So
something.
Memo doesn't have a mic, but he said, "Ask El Jamexican about his name.
About your name.
How he got the
How did you get
How
the
did you
name?
get your name?"
Okay, so the name goes, you know, it was pretty hard. Like I was going by J1 at first. There was no J1s anywhere like that I could think of anywhere when I first started. Then I seen a DJ in the UK like 2-3 years later, and I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? There's another J1. So I'm like going in there like, man, I had the domains though. And everything. So I'm like, I'm ready to hit him with a lawsuit. Like, yo, change your name or we're going to have to take that to court. Basically, I found out, no, he's just a DJ. I'm like, okay, I'm not DJing no more, and I don't use that name as a DJ. I had a whole different name for a DJ. So, you know, I let it go. And then I see another guy in Hawaii. J1.
It's like weeds.
Yeah. So they're like popping out all over. There's a guy out in Venezuela or Colombia, J1.
International.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, dude, what the hell? Like, did they see me on YouTube then or something? I don't know. But I mean, it happens, you know. So then I started figuring out a name. I'm like, man, dude, like, I just kind of gave up looking for a name. I was like, man, I'm just going to continue doing music, and then I'll come up with a name later. And then present myself as that person, right? As that character. So finally, I'm talking to somebody, and they're like, yo, have you ever thought of this? And I'm like, nah, that sounds hecka whack. Like, it doesn't even match my music, like, you know? So then I started thinking, like, one day in my room, I'm meditating. So I'm like, okay, I think I got it. So I look, and I'm like, Ja, and I'm like, Ja something, and I'm like, nah. And then I go, Jamexican. I'm like, whoa. I was like, yo, that's the one. Because, and the reason why I named myself that is because I do Jamaican music, but I also, like, I'm mixing it with my culture. So I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's Jamexican. I do Jamaican music, music that sounds Jamaican, but I'm Mexican.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a fusion.
So it's
you fused your name.
So I kind of
together.
fused,
You
yeah.
the music together.
Yes. And that's where the music,
That's
the
cool.
name
Thank you,
comes from.
Memo. That's
Thank
a very
you.
important
Yeah.
question.
And then the L came in later.
That's why we have you here.
The L came in. Yeah, the L came in later. Yeah.
All right, did you want to play another song before we go out? All right, we're gonna play El Jamexican before we go. This is Queenz of Queenz Radio.
Queenz of Queenz Radio.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to introduce the song. Actually,
Sure.
this is actually a new song. I just dropped it about a week ago now.
Oh.
It's called
First time ever.
on
The,
air. Yeah.
the listening debut
Yes.
On Queenz
at
of
La
Queenz.
Cool Radio.
Yes.
On Queenz of Queenz first.
Yes.
Radio.
Oh, by the way, the song is titled "In an Invitation,"
Oh, I like this song.
and this one's all Spanish. So.
Mujer, yo sé que quieres lo mismo de ayer. Deja de pensar de esta noche, bebé, y vente para acá con ese movimiento sensual. Perdidos en una invitación. Si me besas, empezamos de cero. La noche es una. Si tú quieres, yo quiero. Tú me elevas hasta otro planeta. Eres mágica, la única, bebé. Mami, mami, otra vez vamos a hacer el amor. Esa noche tú y yo en una habitación, con botellas de rosé, champaña, bebé, juntos hasta la mañana. Tú eres la que la mente me daña. Todos tus movimientos me fascinan. Me encantan esa foto que me mandas en la noche por el WhatsApp, tentándome, seduciéndome, pegaditos tú y yo en una habitación, haciéndolo. Yo sé que quieres lo mismo quiero disfrutar. Siempre algo nuevo para explorar. Siempre aprovecho el momento, porque de balada ahí se pasa el tiempo. Agárrame y bésame, aprovechame, mujer, demuéstrame que eres loca pa' el amor, pa' el amor. Tú sabes que tú eres pa' mí, y yo pa' ti, eres mi queen. No te desesperes que te lo hago como un king, yeah. Mi majesty. Mujer, yo sé que quieres lo mismo de ayer. Deja de pensar de esta noche, bebé. Vente para acá con ese movimiento sensual. Perdidos en una invitación. Si me besas, empezamos de cero. La noche es una. Si tú quieres, yo quiero. Tú me elevas hasta otro planeta. Eres mágica, única, baby. Listen,
Jamexican, rude boy.
ZK. Oh, na, na, na. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yes.
I like that one.
That one's different.
Yeah. That you have a variety of different sounds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you like the first song we played, and then this song, if like you weren't standing here, you could say it's two different people.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yo, shout out to Shavaka from Venezuela. Venezuela lo produce. He helped me out with this. It's a good friend of mine's, online friend, because I haven't met him in person yet.
Oh.
But we go way back. We trade. I produced for him. He's produced for me. He actually helped me produce this song.
Mhm.
So, yeah, man. Big up, big up, big up.
Oh my gosh.
That was epic.
Yeah, this is good. Good stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's time to wrap up.
All right.
Yes. I'm sorry to say we have to. We should be talking.
Yeah.
We should be talking all
All
night.
night.
Yes, have a little nightcap here. Have our sleeping bags.
Right.
I'm glad. I'm glad I wasn't in that little like sex conversation, because man, boy, sheesh.
I turned the flash right away.
Man, and then they're like, give him the mic. I was like, nah. I passed on this one.
Oh my goodness, how funny. So if you don't know what he's talking about, we have a segment called Queens of Real Talk, where we have different topics. And
Ooh, my
tonight's
face
topic
is still
was,
flushed.
does being submissive save a relationship? So if you missed it, please go to La Cool Radio on Facebook and scroll down the news feed and find it and watch it and laugh, make comments, tell me what's going on, you know. Trying to guess who the mystery man talking that you could not see.
See behind the screen.
Yeah. Make sure you guys tune into that. That was actually like, yeah, it was fun. It was fun like listening. You know what I mean? It was fun listening.
He enjoyed it as a spectator.
Yeah. I was doing the thumbs up, thumbs down. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yes. So we are here every Friday from 7 to now past 9. So
Way past.
Queens of Queenz broadcast on LawCoolRadio.com. If you would like to come, if you're an artist and would like to have an interview and have the world listen to your music, please contact us. If you are a business and you want to let the world know about your business, please contact us. And yeah, my name is Queen Myesha, and
I'm Queen Shavaka.
and
El Jamexican.
yes. So till next time, take care. Bye bye.